guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. Well, today I'm here with another one of my 12 weeks of fall and Halloween for 2021. This is a fall project, and this time I'm doing another fun fold card. And this one is the first time I've ever made one of these. There were different kinds of names. This one I'm going to name Pop-Up Stand-Up Card because it pops up and it stands up. It's a really fun set to make. And if you'd like to stamp along with me, just look down in the video description and click on that blog post link and you'll find the supply list and the dimensions you need for all of the cardstock. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first off, I want to show you the bundle I'm using. It's called the Sparkle of the Season. This is from the July to December 2021 mini catalog. Really love the versatility of this set. We've got a lot of stamp sets that have a lot of versatility. This one will cover Thanksgiving, Halloween, and Christmas. And you could definitely make these wreaths be spring wreaths if you wanted to too. So I think you could definitely do this all year long. But here are the dies. You get quite a few dies, or 15 dies altogether. So if you purchase these two items together as a bundle, you'll save 10% versus buying them individually. And I am going to use another die set. It's called the Tasteful Labels dies. This is in the annual catalog. And I'm going to grab this one because we're going to need that die. And I forgot to grab the dies from the other set. We're going to need this one here, this leaf one here, and this double leaf one here. So 2 double leaves. And we're going to need this pumpkin. And those are all the dies we'll be using. And for the stamps, you'll need this swirl here. You're going to need this one here. And these leaves right here. You're going to need the Grateful, and you're going to need the Thankful for You. So those are all the stamps you're going to need. Okay, first off, we're going to do some scoring. So grab that big piece of crumb cake. This is a 10.5 by 4 1/4. So with the 10.5 side along the top, you're going to score this at a 1/2 inch. I always think the 1/2 inch is a little harder to do, but there we go. We got that going. Then 1 3/4 inches. 3 3/4 inches, and 5 inches. So I'll set this to the side. And now we need the other piece of crumb cake. This is a 3 by 5. Have the 5 inch side along the top. We're going to score this at 1/2 inch and at 1 3/4. Now one trick I want to show you, when you score with this, you want to hold this at an angle. See how I've got it angled down? If you do it up straight, I think it's a lot harder and it's a lot easier to get off your track. So I think it's a lot easier to hold it like a pencil and bring it down like this. That's just a little tip for you. Okay, that's all the scoring we need to do. We'll get this out of the way and we'll start making the base of the card. Okay, so we've got the large piece. Now you want to turn it over so the hills are facing up. And we're going to go ahead and fold all these. This is called burnishing the folds. This makes it a lot easier when you go to put the card together to have these folds ready to go. And we've got one more fold right here. Okay, now let's go ahead and we're going to put a 4 inch by 4 inch piece of designer series paper. And this one is from the Harvest Meadow DSP. So it's a 4 by 4 piece. You can always use whatever design you want. You don't have to use the one I'm using. Go ahead and make sure we get adhesive in each corner. And I'm going to turn this upside down so I can see it a little better. I want to put this up at the top, and I want to have this border here and the side borders to be about the same. Okay, that makes it line up perfectly. Then we're going to turn this over. We need to have some tear and tape. So we're going to put one right across here. Let me find the beginning of this. There we go. And I put it closer to the score line, because that holds it together a lot better. You don't want it to come apart and bend out. You want it to stay attached right at that score line. There's really no need to put one here. You're fine there. And let's go ahead and grab that other piece of designer series paper. This one is a 1 3/4 by 4. Now with this one, there is a design that I don't want it to be going upside down because it's really hard to tell probably in the video, but there are words in this, so I don't want those upside down. So the trick with this, let's turn this back over. This is going to fold like this. So I know that I want it to go on like this. So I'm going to hold this like this. Now I know that's the way I want it. So actually, now that I've done this, just always remember you want the, if you're going to have it facing the right direction, have the tear and tape up at the top. I'd forgotten to check that out before I started. Like I said, I've only made one of these. So we figured it out together. So we'll go ahead and put this on, this one right here. Okay. So you skip one and go down to the second one from the top here. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and put this together. Now, when I first started this, I'm like, okay, how am I going to get this to be nice and square right here? It's super easy. I was so excited it was super easy. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take the tear and tape off here, and I think it's a lot easier. I'm not the tear and tape, but the paper backing to it. I think it's a lot easier to start it with take your pick tool. So now that we've got the paper backing off, you fold this down so the designer series paper is showing. Fold this down and attach. This is going to make it do a perfect perpendicular rectangle for you. Wasn't that easy? I love it when you don't have to be balancing it to make it just right. So that's the easy way to do that. Then we'll go ahead and grab this piece, and let's go ahead and get some of the cork paper on it. This one is a 2 3/4 by 3. I think it's a little easier to put this on before you attach it. And I'll tell you what, we'll put this on and then we're going to do some die cutting before we put this on. And what I'm going to do, this one has no, doesn't matter if it's upside down or because it's going the same way. You want to put this in the large section of this, right here in the center. And let's go ahead and put some tear and tape. Let's go ahead and fold these first. And I want to make sure I'm remembering the right place. Yep, I was. Yes. You're going to put the tear and tape the same side that your cork paper is on. So we're going to put a strip. Oh, here, let me cut this off. I got a little paper on there. We don't want that coming up on us later. So once again, I'm going to go near the score line and go right across and tear. So this one's ready to be put on the card, but we want to decorate it first. So we'll put this to the side. Okay, first off, let's grab the small piece of basic white. This is a 2 3/4 by 1, and grab our crumb cake ink pad. I'm going to stamp the grateful stamp close to the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to die cut it. So we've got that ready to go. And now you need to grab the large piece of basic white, the 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to stamp this swirl right here. And we'll put it near the top. Now, normally this would be like the inside of the card. It's actually going to be the back of our card for this one. I'm going to put this up here. That way there's still room at the bottom to sign my name. And then I'm going to take the soft succulent ink pad. Let's go ahead and close this up because I think we're done with the crumb cake. And I'm going to take the... There we go. I forgot which one. Thankful for You. Help if I opened it up, wouldn't it? Can't stamp when the ink pad's still closed. Okay, and then we'll stamp the Thankful for You right in the middle. And then I thought we're going to decorate this a little bit. So I'm going to grab the trio leaves and my bumblebee ink pad. We'll get this one out of the way. And I'm going to stamp some leaves on here just to have a little bit of a fall look to it. Kind of turn it every which way. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Okay, that looks pretty good. I know looks like we could probably use a little bit more here. And I think it's fine to go out because your wreath, a lot of times, will have things coming out a little bit. I'm actually stamped this a little more than I did my first one. I think that looks pretty good. I kind of like that. Okay, now we're going to add a little more color to it. So I'm grabbing my Calypso Coral. Now you could just leave it this way. I have to admit, I really do like that. I might find out I like it better without this, but I thought, we'll do this. So I'm going to put a few little things here with the Calypso Coral. Actually, now that I've added more of the leaves, you might just want to do that. But since I got it started, we'll go ahead and finish this. My original looked good with that, but I like it better with just a bunch of leaves. So you might just want to fill it in with a bunch of leaves. I think that's going to look better, to be quite honest. Okay, so this will be going in the back of our card. We might as well put that on since we're done with it. So let's grab the seal. Put some here and here. Now I'm going to grab that card base, and you can push this up so it's flat, and this goes on the back of your card. So we've got that all done. So there's that, and you can have plenty of room to put a little greeting on of your own, little message, and sign your name. Okay, so now we're ready to do some die cutting, so let's get our die cutting machine out. In case you're new to die cutting, you need the platform number 1, the big base plate. Then you need the die plate number 2, and then you need a standard cutting plate, which is actually number 3. I don't have any numbers on here, but normally I'll say number 3. Now we're going to grab a piece of soft succulent. This is 3.5 by 3.5. That's going to be for my wreath. And we're getting a scrap piece of soft succulent, a scrap piece of the bumblebee, and a scrap piece of the calypso coral. So let's get all our dies together. This big one here is for the wreath. Oh, and we also need our grateful. Almost forgot about that. Grab our grateful and grab that little tag, or banner actually, die from the Tasteful Labels. Get that right there. Then we're going to grab this larger leaf, double leaf. That's going to be with the bumblebee. Pumpkin's going to go with the calypso coral. And the last die, which is a smaller leaves, is going to go here on the soft succulent one. Then we're going to grab another standard cutting plate, put on top. Slowly bring it down so none of the dies move. Really, the one I'm watching the most is my grateful and making sure everything else stays on the cardstock. So we'll get these through at a weird angle, so my machine's moving on me. There we go. Get this back on the screen. So now we have our leaves. They come out pretty fast. So let me grab my take your pick tool. This one. Oh no, it fell out. I knew it would. I didn't have any problems with it when I made this card earlier. But the hard part is keeping hold of all your leaves. There we go. So now we've got 2 leaves there. These are the 2 larger leaves with the bumblebee cardstock. And then we have our little pumpkin. I love these little dies that we just used because of the detail it puts in them. So there's our pumpkin. Put that die back in there. Then we have our banner. And here's our, oops, don't want to lose that die. And here's our wreath. And it's pretty easy to take apart. You just want to be careful when you start taking the leaves out that you don't rip them. And these little pieces here come out really quick. Oh, and then we get the center one out too. So once again, be careful with your leaves. They're just, and the vines. It's got a lot of little vines to it, and you don't want to be tearing anything. But it die cuts so well. I was really impressed when I die cut these yesterday. Now there's some more things that get die cut, but I thought I'm not going to make you sit and watch me die cut all of them, but I'll show you all the die cuts. So let's put this in my little dish. We also needed 2 more of the small leaves and soft succulent. So we'll throw those in there. And then I wanted 4 of those little leaves in bumblebee. So I went ahead and die cut those ahead of time. And now if you're stamping along with me, you're going to want to pause your video and get all those die cut. And there's one more thing to die cut too. Another one, this is on a piece of 3.5 by 3.5 inches crumb cake. So we'll have 2 wreaths. So go ahead and pause the video if you're stamping along with me and get those die cut. So you need 4 small of the bumblebee leaves. So it's 2 sets actually. And then you need 1 set of the soft succulent in the small leaf. So you end up with 2 leaves. And then you need 1 more wreath done in the crumb cake. And come back and finish the card with me. Okay, now go get the piece with the cork paper on it and lay it down so that your tear and tape is on the top. Then we want to grab both of these wreaths, the crumb cake and the soft succulent. And I'm going to grab some glue dots. Now what I'm going to do, you see these 4 leaves here in the center. Now this one's kind of small. These larger ones, I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of all 3 of those. And since this one's too small, I'm going to put one here on this one outside one. And that is going to be plenty to hold this in place. So let's get this rolled out. So I'm going to put a leaf on this inner big one. Easier said than done. There we go. Couldn't get a hold of it. And you want to help the glue dot up with it. Don't just rip it off because you might rip your leaf. So that's why you're going to help so you don't rip those pretty leaves. And we've got 1 more here in the center. You could also use glue, of course. But sometimes glue gets messy, so I'm going to use my glue dots. Okay, and then this small one here that's too small, we're going to go ahead and put one on this little outer one here because it's not sticking out too far, so I don't need to worry about it coming off the sides of this. Okay, so we've got all those on. Let's lay this down to where it looks pretty to us. And it's okay, like I said, if some of the outside leaves are hanging off. Okay, there we go. So that looks really good. And I kind of like these being able to move a little bit. But having those 4 is going to be fine. I'm going to rip off some of this paper, make it easier on myself. Now we're going to do the same thing with this one. So let's get those 4 large leaves on the inside of the wreath with the glue dot. Okay, and then here's the small one, so we'll put one on this outer one right here. And then we'll have all our glue dots on here. And when I lay this down, I'm going to want to kind of move it around so the leaves aren't covering up each other. You might still cover up a few leaves, but you don't want it to line up perfectly because we still want to see that soft succulent wreath on the inside. Oops, there we go. Make sure you push those inner leaves down, the ones with the glue dots. There we go. So that just gives you a nice fuller wreath with different colors. I like that. Okay, I'm going to take some of this paper off again because we're going to need some more glue dots here in just a minute. Let's go ahead and grab that pumpkin while we're at it. Now this one we're going to put a dimensional on the back. So I'm going to grab one dimensional. And it's a perfect size for that pumpkin. And I'm going to put it right around here in this bottom left corner. So grab my Take Your Pick tool. Get that paper backing off. And this is also going to hold that wreath down a little bit right there. Okay, so we've got that there. Now we're going to start adding some leaves. Let me get this out of the way. We don't want that. I'm going to start off with some yellow ones. I'm going to do the small ones. The last ones we're going to do are the larger yellow ones. So I'm going to make sure I only put a glue dot on the bottom. You don't want it in the center. Put it on the bottom of the leaf. That way when we add more leaves, we're going to be able to tuck them underneath the first leaf. So let's get that glue dot up. I'm going to put one right here. Let's grab a small, because of the two small, there's one that's a little smaller and one's a little larger. So I'm going to put one complete set on there. So we've got one of the larger ones and the big one, and a small one, I mean, right here. Then we'll grab the other two small ones, and we'll put them on the other side of the pumpkin along the wreath. And you don't have to do this, but this is a large one. This was a larger one, so I'm going to put one over here so it's on the opposite corner. And it's nice having that dimensional, so this pumpkin is raised up and I can tuck some leaves under there. Grab that last small one. Like I said, always make sure that you put that glue dot on the bottom of the leaf. And then you'll stick it under here. Now we're going to do some of the soft succulents. So I'm going to grab, this is one of the larger of the two in the set. Glue dot on the bottom. And I'm going to stick this one, let's say we'll do it right about here. And grab a small one. And I'll put one right about here. Kind of pair them together. And we'll do this one more time, and then we'll have all of our small ones on. Then we'll just have two of the large green leaves to put on. So stick this under here. Just stick them where they look good, because I know I'm putting them in different places than what I did on my original. Just wherever I think it looks good. So I think we need one over here. There we go. And I thought that wasn't quite long enough, so we're going to grab these long leaves. Where'd my glue dots go? There we go. Stick one on the bottom. Now this one doesn't matter if you get it more in the middle, because you're not going to be sticking any more leaves. And I'm going to put this right here. Lift up that one a little bit. There we go. And kind of look at how it's angled. That one was going this way, so I want this one to be going like that, because it'll be going, if I do it this way, then it's going to be angling the other direction. I want to go the same as what my wreath is going. And then that way I can figure out where my bottom's at. Stick that leaf on. Not leaf, glue dot. Then we'll stick the leaf on. And stick it right here. There we go. So now we've got our wreath decorated. I know these are muted colors, but I was going with the colors in that Harvest Meadow DSP, and they are so pretty together. I really like them. Classy looking. Okay, now I'm going to grab our Grateful, and we're going to put this on with dimensionals. So just put one on each end. And I would make sure that the flat sides are on the top and bottom, so these little points aren't sticking up on you from the other side. Go ahead and take the paper backing off here. And I'm going to put this one, now I'm going to make it, I actually did this by accident, but this is a good idea. Don't put it right near the end, because I kind of want this hanging over, and I don't want that dimensional hanging over, just my banner. Hold this on. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. That looks pretty good. I think it's pretty straight too. So there we go. So now we've got that completely decorated, except for our bow. Let's go ahead and do that. I almost forgot about the bow. So I'm using the Diamond Weave ribbon. Love this ribbon. It's so pretty. And we're going to tie a bow. Now I have to admit, this is a little thicker. So the knot is the hard part of getting it tight, that is. It's not hard to tie. It's just like a regular bow. Just pull it as hard as you can to tighten it up as much as you can. I think this side is a little too big, so bring it down. There we go. So nice and tight. I'm going to grab my scissors. I'm going to cut at an angle. And we'll trim this one off at an angle too. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to grab our dimensionals one last time. We are using a lot of dimensionals on this one. And we're going to stick a glue dot right here. Squeeze it really, really hard so it sticks to the ribbon. And I'm going to put this one right here in the top. I thought that wreath needed something at the top. So to finish off that wreath. There we go. So now we're done with that. And we'll attach this to the card. And there's an easy way to attach this too. I love this. What we're going to do, you're going to fold this down like so. You want to line up the top of this with the top edge of your paper. So if you want, you can do it this way, or you can lay it down here and line up paper. Since we've already got this decorated, I think this is easier. So we're going to take this tear and tape off. If you put this on before you decorate it, then you could do it the other way. But I think with the I think it's easier to decorate before you attach this. So holding onto this, making sure you don't stick it. I'm going to hold it like this. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Oh, I was getting out of the screen. I am so sorry. I'll try to zoom in a little bit when I edit this. I'm lining up that fold with the top of the card, making sure it's centered left and right. Then I can push this down. Okay. Then we can go ahead and open this up, and we're going to put another piece of tear and tape on there. And we'll put it right across the top. Like so. Take that paper backing off. There we go. Now with this folded down like this, you want to keep this up here, okay? You don't want to bring it all the way down here because then it's going to go too far down. So keep that up there, lined up. Make sure this is flat, and then it's all ready to go. Now, how cool and easy was that? This looks real complicated, but it's not hard at all. It's actually took longer to decorate our little wreath, but I was having fun with that. That's why I kept adding a bunch of stuff to it. So I hope you enjoyed this week's 12 Weeks of Fall and Halloween. I'll be back next week around 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I always try to get these posted between 3 and 4 p.m. Eastern Time every Friday through October 22nd. That'll be the 12th week. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Next week's probably going to be a Halloween one. I'm not sure. I've been going back and forth. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Halloween one, though. So come back next week. And if you don't want to miss any of my other videos, please subscribe to my channel below and then click on that little bell icon that pops up. That way you'll know, get notified from YouTube and know when I upload a video. Now, if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. I would be happy to send you your first set of catalogs for free. Right now, we've got the annual catalog, the July to December mini catalog, and that's what all the products from made with this came from, except for the cardstock. And then we've got Celebration going on. You don't want to miss Celebration. It ends September 30th, 2021, and you get free stuff. So if you're new to Celebration and don't know about it, there are a lot of different ways to get some free stuff during this time. So just click on that Celebration information link below in the video description, and you'll find out everything you can do. And one of the actually the best deal of Celebration is joining my team, and you'll automatically get a discount every time you place an order as long as you're an active demonstrator. I love the discount. There's so many things I loved about being a demo, but I love the discount, and I love being able to get new products early before the customers and be able to play with it before they get it. So a lot of neat perks, and you can find out more about the perks of becoming a demonstrator below in my demonstrator information link, I think is what I called it. Okay, we'll take one last look at the card, and thank you so much for watching, and please support my channel by giving me a thumbs up or commenting below. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day, guys. See you in the next video.